This is ODT Gaming coming to you again with an update for contrast paints. I have been up to no good with some mixes I've been going through and trying out. I am here to show you what my two giants look like here when we compare the Gilliman Flesh over KDN base again. So this is my giant before the contrast wash. You can see that this is the 5th edition giant converted with a demonic head or demonic horns along with a giant head from like the 7th edition box set. This is that old 5th edition metal giant. This skin tone is painted over a black Army Painter primer, then a gray base, and then white highlights, a dry brushed on there. You can see my pattern with the horns. You can see there's even like some black undertones like in the deep recesses, which that's what I'm going for. I like to paint dark and then highlight my way back up. So the same method and madness was applied to the pants, except no base color. I just went with that straight white highlight. And on this leather, if we can focus in, you can see that that snakebite leather has a really dark contrast to it. In those recesses, it just kind of gets a really deep, rich leather tone to it. Now, this was the other giant I did with the same KDN Flesh undertone, but a contrast wash already on it. So you can see between the two giants how that dark skin tone develops. I'm going to go ahead and further highlight this with more KDN Flesh, potentially a normal wash, and see how it turns out. That axe I'm going to use the black contrast paint on, and then possibly the red on this part right up in here. We'll give you another update here shortly, maybe in a couple days. But good night, good luck, and hopefully you guys can get some inspiration from this and try out. We are going through contrast paints again. You can see I've got a bunch of paints here lined up, and I just wanted to talk about what I did with my giants. If you remember, I had converted these giants a few weeks ago, put some tutorials online. This is the 7th edition or 8th edition giant that was released through Games Workshop. And we're using contrast paints. These are the models that I worked on last night and I featured earlier in the video. I just want to give kind of an update. Both of them are kind of kept up or painted up to the same level at this point. We have what we did as far as snakebite leather on the pants, and I will turn so you can get a better look at this. What we did with that was a snakebite leather contrast paint over top the white primer, and then further highlighted it up with shades of standard snakebite leather. The one thing I did do, which I did enjoy, was I used this contrast horde paint, which is the bone contrast pigment paint on my horns up here. Now, I did base coat that with a Zanzi dust to kind of brighten it up. I don't have that paint down here right now, but you can see with a quick dry brush of Ushapti bone that those horns really came out very well with just 1, 2, and 3 layers of paint. Now you could go through back there and touch up again with more Ushapti bone with the tips. You could go into a ceramite white and really bring out the horns that way, but at that point I think you could almost be done with a bone color on those horns. As far as cleaning up the skin tone, because it's so dark, more than likely I will go back with my KDN Flesh right here. That is a horribly dirty pot, but it has seen better days. And really clean up those high areas, muscles, try and bring up more muscle definition. You can always take your KDN Flesh, you can go 50-50 with like an elf flesh tone, or even an off-white, depending on how you want your skin tone to turn out. The steel that was done on this sword here was accomplished using 1 coat of bolt gun metal, which is a standard darker steel, and then chainmail on the outer portion or the tip and sharper points there. Then coating it with the Black Templar, and then coating it one more time, the high areas, with chainmail. Now you could go through and make these crevices in here more of like a darker gold or red, and I may go back and do that, just kind of give it some color. It looks sort of just blandly steel right there, and probably clean up some of the areas in the rope so that we've got more definition with the giant. So hopefully this has helped you out in some of your ideas, or when you approach your contrast paints. I will feature probably one more video of the final product, and I hope you enjoyed. Good night and good luck.